Hello and welcome to a brand new E3 themed installment of Nintendo News Report for Tuesday, June 12th, 2018. Today we have every single person who has ever been on a Nintendo News Report before, minus Neil, Scott Thompson, Alex Osborne, all of our guests who haven't been back, which is Player One Podcast and all their friends, and some other people. But otherwise, every single person who has ever been on Nintendo News Report, including Donald Terrio. Hi.
And here I am still trying to figure out why somebody is saying that Grim Fandango is coming to Switch right now.
Because the news just won't stop. I think it's because there's some fan concert or fan panel at the Keighley section of this. Isn't that what's going on?
I think so.
Double fine. Hi, Zach.
Hey, Alex, how are you?
I'm good. I had a very good E3 this year, although some people, I would say, might disagree.
Huh.
Yeah, I thought it was a relatively strong one, Zach. What did you think?
I thought it was, there wasn't a ton for me personally, but there were a lot of good games announced.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think there was plenty of good stuff announced. Double Fine is doing the Grim Fandango Live sort of panel at E3. And so there are reports coming out that Grim Fandango is coming to Switch. That's a cool thing. I think that came to Vita a couple of years ago, so
it did.
Stands to reason.
I have it there and on PS4 because it was cross-buy.
And Thimbleweed Park is on Switch as well, so it makes sense to have those classic type adventure games coming over.
Very nice. Last but not least, rounding out our complete lineup, the same people from a few days ago. Hi, Justin Broovy.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm pretty happy.
Speaking of somebody who's having a good E3.
Now, as far as those other people go, they're going to be DLC.
So Pauline is definitely not going to be DLC.
No, I meant all the other Nintendo News Report characters.
Oh, they're going to be DLC down the line.
Yeah.
We're not exactly Ultimate Nintendo News Report. We might be Nintendo News Report for YouTube and iTunes.
Nintendo News Report Racing Transformed.
Transformed.
And the reason Neil isn't on the show is because we can't get him into the iTunes feed.
It takes up too much CPU. Well, let's talk about this E3 of ours. There's a lot of games to get through, and we're going to save Smash for the end for a couple of reasons. One, people file into YouTube slowly but surely. And two, it gives us a big conclusion to end on. But we're going to start from the very beginning. Daemon X Machina by Kenchihiro Tsukada. Donald, who is that?
That would be it. I believe he is one of the devs who was responsible for a little series called Armored Core.
But this isn't a From Software game.
No, he left From and formed a new studio that's apparently working with Marvelous to bring a simpler but still pretty complex mech game to the Switch sometime next year.
Huh.
Yeah, this announcement was pretty baffling to me. I didn't know what I was looking at.
Me neither.
It was a strange opener. I think they were hoping for something action-packed, to go in front of the more quiet Xenoblade, but it felt very jarring to just see a 2019 logo, no context, a publisher that isn't Nintendo. It came across as strange. With context, knowing that they're making Armored Core but not Armored Core is kind of a cool thing on its own.
Some new Xenoblade Chronicles X spinoff.
Yeah, it turns out we got our Xenoblade spinoff, the next one. Scenario TV says, I love that jump cut to the title. Chair Goblin thought it was Xenoblade X at first. That's what I thought too, until I realized the art style didn't exactly line up. He also says, played 2 matches of Fortnite. I'm a Fortnite noob. What's the objective? We will talk about that later, but the objective is to get first place. It's to survive, and we'll talk about that a little later on. But one of my favorite announcements of the whole thing, one of Justin's favorite announcements of the whole thing, we finally know what the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 story expansion is, and it is exactly what I predicted it would be.
I didn't want to talk about it too much because I did hear a brief bit about the spoilers from some of the data mine stuff. So I was just trying to stay clear of that. But yeah, now you know it's some sort of prequel thing, which makes a lot of sense, to be honest.
That's what I said the other day.
Now, the confusing part about all this is it's being launched as a separate package, but I think only a code comes in it, and some people are telling me it's not just a code, so I don't know what's going on. The messaging is mixed up here.
Is it included in the season pass?
Yes. It is.
So it's
wow, that's that's $40. I mean, the season pass is what, 20?
30.
30 still.
The season pass is
Yeah, I think the box version, whatever it comes with, also includes the season pass. So if you were to buy Xenoblade separately on top of that, you'd still get the season pass stuff.
I think it's kind of like what Arcane does with their games that Bethesda publishes. Like, they'll have a standalone expansion, but I think season pass holders do end up getting it for things like Dishonored and Prey.
Yes.
But is there a game card in this case at all?
There are mixed reports on that, and I'm not totally sure. Because it's very confusing, because Nintendo did promise that there will be a standalone version of this expansion. But they also say on the website that there's a download code, but does that mean it's just a download code, or does that mean it's going to be like the Japanese version, which I'm pretty sure we know definitely has a game card inside?
Here's the even more confusing thing about that. In Best Buy right now, when you go up to the eShop card area, you can buy the $30 expansion pass card right there. So if it's just the expansion pass, why would I buy that in a case unless you're me and crazy, as opposed to just grabbing the card for $10 less, if that's all it is?
Yeah, it's a very strange thing. And this also begs the question, TRBR and I had a little bit of an argument about this earlier. I posited that there was a possibility that this was going to get its own icon on the Switch home screen, regardless of whether you have the season pass, because it looks like it's a relatively full-featured game. Because, I mean, they were showing battles with low-level monsters. The battle system is completely changed. They're adding at least one new continent with Old Torna, it looks like. And I'm guessing it's probably going to be a 20, 30-hour experience. Maybe caps out at level 50, but then there's post-game stuff. I mean, there's enough here for sure to be a separate option, but it could be like Fire Emblem, where there are separate entries if you get the standalone version, but if you get one version, get the DLC, you do it inside the game as is. It's a very confusing thing, but all I know is that on September 14th, Season Pass holders will get to play Xenoblade Chronicles 2, Torna, the Golden Country, which looks amazing. It looks like a beefy expansion, exactly what I said it was going to be, exactly what I wanted it to be, diving into a lot of the important context, some of the most interesting stuff, I would say, of Xenoblade Chronicles 2. It allows us to go into probably a modified world with new stuff, with new context. September 14th, that's sooner than I thought it was going to be. I'm very excited. The standalone comes out the following week.
And I think that sets a deadline as to when I actually have to beat Xenoblade 2 by.
Neil said the exact same thing to me this morning, that his goal was to beat Xenoblade 2 by the DLC, which I think is doable for you, Donald. I'm not so sure about Neil.
It depends on how long I'm going to continue to be on medical leave.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
For Neil, it's even worse because I know he's planning to play Octopath next month.
Well, so am I.
But Neil also just had a kid, so
yeah. It looks like
good luck, Neil.
Good luck, Neil. It looks like the battle system is going to be heavily modified. Well, at least refined. Refined is the word they use, but it looks heavily modified because it looks like, as opposed to Rex and Blade, where it's basically one entity kind of. This one looks like you're going to get more direct control over the Blade and the driver. But the trade-off is going to be that you're only controlling those. That was my take from the trailer, was that there's not going to be like a Pokemon-style Blade collection aspect, but it's going to be more focused like JRPG party members, but you're going to get more freedom within that. Justin, was that your take too?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, is there all this stuff that you know that you're just not telling me based on this data?
I actually don't know much more than what was shown today. I saw it was going to be a prequel, and you're probably going to play as Adam. And then I'm like, I'm done reading. That's all I needed to know.
Yeah.
We will probably see more on that tomorrow with Treehouse Live, because they were very limited today by the tournaments.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. They had time for Smash, Pokemon, more Smash, and then the tournaments, basically, right?
Yeah, and they snuck in around the Fortnite, which we'll talk about later.
Okay. TRBR, quote-unquote jokes, but I'm not so sure. Refined means we fixed the broken stuff. Although I would argue that the broken stuff in Xenoblade 2 is some of the best stuff in Xenoblade 2.
Oh, I'd agree. I mean, you, me, and some other guy were talking on Twitter the other day about the best ways to, like, break the leveling system, and that's just fun.
Yeah, I think I sent out a tweet that was like, it's only in Xenoblade 2 will it take 10 hours to get from level 70 to 80, but 90 minutes to get from 80 to 90. And I was so excited by the Xenoblade news today that while I was on break, I was doing a good bit of work today. But while I was not working, I leveled from like 93 to 99 just to do it. And I think after I beat the Cloud King, who's one of the super bosses, I'm probably going to take a long break from that thing. Because you know how you play a game too long and then it gets stuck inside your head in a way where you lose like the artistic part of the game, and now you only know the game by its systems. So
yeah, I guess I got that far in Xenoblade. And I will say Cloud Sea King Ken, I think that's his name, is one of the easiest super bosses, even though it may be the second highest level or somewhere else.
Well, actually, the monster that got me to level 99 was level 120 super boss in the old factory.
Okay.
Yeah, it was that one, which, by the way, was super annoying because my nuclear blast hit it off the podium every single time. But enough about Xenoblade. I just want to say I'm extremely excited about it, and I can't come soon enough. Anthony says it seems more substantial than Breath of the Wild. I would absolutely argue that.
Well, I think the whole game in itself was more substantial than Breath of the Wild.
I think so. I might say, after playing 80 hours, that Xenoblade 2 might be my favorite of the big three Nintendo. The big three large-scale Nintendo releases. I think Splatoon's kind of a multiplayer shooter, its own thing. But of the open games of trilogy of last year, the Zelda, the Mario, the Xenoblade, that might be my favorite. So, there's Xenoblade. While we're on the topic of DLC, it was announced during the Splatoon tournament today that the Octo expansion comes out tomorrow, which was one of my predictions on Talk Nintendo, which was that it would be announced during E3 for a very soon release, but would not come out the day of E3. So, I'm very excited about that.
Technically, it does come out on a day of E3, just not day one.
Yeah, I guess that counts. We'll see what the tape says. I don't know what to think of this. It's $20, right?
I don't remember the cost, but I may stop at Best Buy tomorrow just to get the little card because you know me.
Yeah. Okay. And we have an update on Grim Fandango. Apparently, there's a cast reunion video or a cast reunion going on at around E3 for the 20th anniversary of the game, and Tim announced it there. So, yeah, it's happening.
Nice.
Very good. Very good. We'll see. What does Nintendo Life have to say? Anyways, someone in the chat, if they know how much this costs, please tell us.
The Octo expansion is 20, I believe.
20? Okay, and then it's going to be 80-ish levels. You get to play as the Octolings. Cool. It seems like it's their version of New Super Luigi U, where it's going to be smaller, snappier, harder levels. Is my take on what that's going to be. I'm probably going to wait for some hot takes on that before I invest on the DLC. Xenoblade, I was very sure about, but Breath of the Wild, I actually kind of got burned by because I was hoping for new locations, not old school adventure Zelda puzzle goodness. And bless up to the people that really love that stuff, but that just wasn't what I was looking for. So I'll probably listen to some of the initial reviews of that thing before picking it up.
And there's Splatoon amiibos coming.
Yeah, those were also announced as the announcement for today, is that in addition to He Who Must Not Be Named getting announced for Smash Bros. Later in the show, there's also going to be a new Splatoon amiibo for Smash Bros. And there's going to be new Splatoon amiibo for this DLC expansion.
The Octolings, and I'm looking real forward to them because I don't like those Inklings. I don't want to be them. I want to be the Octolings. I want to take out those Inklings.
Okay, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Also, Splatoon 2 is going to keep getting weapon and stage updates. Originally, they were going to turn that off in July at the 1-year anniversary, but that's going to be extended through the end of this year.
Very good.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. They gotta eventually make a Splatoon 3. I think we'll get a Splatoon 3 on this system if they want to keep Switch around for a while.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Super Mario Party, that comes out on October 5th. I have a theory about Super Mario Party and the new Mario Tennis game and Mario Odyssey. Breath of the Wild is kind of its own thing, but those 3 games especially I'm thinking about. And I'm seeing these like new refreshed takes on these old series, especially Mario Party, which some might argue is a tired series in and of itself. And it's got this new aesthetic, and it looks colorful and youthful, and it's doing these things with the Switch tablet where you're swiping fingers across multiple Switch screens. And I'm thinking these games are the result of older Nintendo developers collaborating more and more with younger ones. That's completely headcanon. I have no idea if this is true, but we do know that like younger developers are getting integrated more and more into Nintendo development. And I have a theory that Super Mario Party and Mario Tennis are the result of that.
Sure.
Solid takes.
I mean, I don't know what to say. We don't have any.
We don't have any
proof,
info. But there's a similar energy, I would say, between those 3 games.
Just laying out the 2 Switch screens like that reminds me a lot of Wii Party U.
Yeah.
And that type of stuff.
Yeah, they're doing a bit of a reboot where everyone, it's a semi-reboot. Everyone gets their own character-exclusive dice blocks that add depth to the player strategy. Up to 4 players take turns rolling the dice, individually race across the board, searching for stars in Toad's Rec Room. New gameplay links games and 2 Nintendo Switch systems for side-by-side fun. October 5th. I'm glad we got one game that we didn't know about beforehand.
Now, do we know if you're going to need 2 game cards to do this 2-screen thing, or is there going to be some sort of like download capability?
That's a good question.
They've done that before with like Star Rush, I think, at least. I think the Least Bad 100 also had something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we've seen it before on the Switch with like the Namco Museum game, so I think it shouldn't be too hard to do that.
And do we think this will have online?
No.
Probably.
No.
No? Wait,
No
did none of the other ones have it?
No.
There's never been an online Mario Party game.
Oh, maybe not then.
The only thing that makes me think maybe is that the online service is launching a month before this comes out.
Yes, but I think if there was online, it would be advertised with this game. I don't think it's impossible for there to be a Mario Party with online, but I just don't think there is in this case.
They had lifestyle photos. Like this is intended to be played on rooftops.
Yeah. Man, this key art looks great.
It is interesting to me that this is the first console non-numbered Mario Party.
Yeah. Well, outside of Mario Party.
Well, yeah. But You know what I'm saying.
I know.
I want Super Mario Party 2 next year, where you can throw vegetables at people instead of dice.
Super Mario Party USA. Yeah, I like that they're using the Super Mario Odyssey style Mario with the unusually detailed hair and denim in his jeans. The art looks great. The logo looks great. I hope the game is great. We'll probably learn more about that on a Nintendo Direct that comes about 3 weeks before the game comes out.
Yeah.
Dark Souls Switch is still slated for this summer, and summer is in about a week.
Oh, that's right.
Probably August.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And World Ends With You Final Remix was in that same sizzle reel. That'll be fall, probably October. Sweet.
$60.
Eesh.
That's a lot of money.
This is like
SNK Waifu Fighter got a date, September 7th.
that's had that for a while though.
Well,
Like-
damn it.
I think they announced that at PAX East.
Oh.
Developer Nintendo of Super Mario Party. Chair Goblin, a very good question in the chat. Is Super Mario Party made by ND Cube? I wouldn't be surprised if they made this internally.
Yeah, I mean, when you think Mario Party, you think ND Cube, but we'll probably not find out until probably we roll credits on that game at some point.
Right. I mean, ND Cube is internal, but yeah, real internal. Internal. Fire Emblem Three Houses, the crazily subtitled new Fire Emblem game. A new episode of the Fire Emblem series comes to Nintendo Switch in the spring of 2019, which is disappointing, but also relatively expected because we hadn't seen anything of this game until now. So, I wouldn't have been surprised necessarily either way, but this makes sense. You can maneuver the character freely and interact with other characters to build relationships. So it seems like it's going to be more Awakening-esque, except there's going to be new ways to play. It was showing a strategy almost Odama-like.
The last game I can think of where you could move supporting scrub units with your main characters was unfortunately the lowest reviewed game I will ever give. The lowest review I've ever given to a game, Longrisser Reincarnation for 3DS. So although I trust Intelligent Systems to pull this off way more than I do whatever Scrub Studio made Longrisser.
Cherry Goblin says that Fire Emblem Three Houses is a boring title.
Yes, it is.
I think it depends on how they carry I don't think we've seen enough of how that game presents itself. I think it's a boring title on its own, but I think if they make the art and the logo nice enough, and they make it all Game of Thronesy, or whatever, or they make it super artsy, or whatever works for Fire Emblem, I could see it working. I think how they use that title, which is a silly, dumb thing to say, I think that'll actually matter in this case. On its own, I agree. It's kind of a different kind of thing, and not necessarily in a good way, but we'll see.
I will say that it leaves no ambiguity as to how many houses there will be.
Yes, we know there will be 3 houses, but somehow one version.
Yeah, I don't think they can get away with trying to do the Fates thing again with a Switch game.
No.
Yeah, the 4th house will be DLC.
PRPR says they better not make it 3 games, just 1, please. I'm guessing if it was going to be more than 1 game, we would know by now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be 1 game. They're probably focused on the HD development, which is the first time that a post-Awakening Fire Emblem has been to consoles. So I'm excited. That was one of my favorite announcements at E3. It looks like a slightly different kind of Fire Emblem, like Awakening, but it's got some new stuff, and it's in HD, which means we can see the foot soldiers' feet in full glory, as opposed to the toothpicks of Awakening.
Or the bare feet of Fates. But yeah, I'm excited for this, but I have to admit my heart fell a little bit when they said spring 2019.
Yeah.
Because this is the first real game delay we've seen on Switch.
True.
Yeah. That'll probably be a March release. whatever the Kirby slot was, I would imagine. I hope it'll be February, but I'm anticipating March.
Yeah, I'm thinking actually, given when Echo was released last year, I think April or May.
I agree with you, Donald. I don't think Nintendo says spring and then puts things in March.
Yeah. Got some indie games. Overcooked 2 is coming to Switch this summer, August 7th, 2 days after my birthday, 4 days after WarioWare.
It's also going to have online for the Switch version, which they announced during Treehouse Live.
Yeah.
Which it did not the first time.
We also got Killer Queen Black, an updated version of the sort of Towerfall-esque.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Game Killer Queen, which I had not heard of before.
I just wonder if the soundtrack is by Queen.
It's the reason you've probably never heard of it is because it's a port of an arcade game.
Oh,
I assumed it was Steam or something.
An old arcade game?
No, a modern one. It's very popular among the arcade scene, especially on the West Coast.
It looked a lot like Joust to me. Is this the one I'm talking about? Am I talking about the right one here?
Kind of, yeah. Jousty.
Yeah, it was Joust-esque.
Yeah.
Joustian. We also got Hollow Knight coming out today. That's neat. That's a well-reviewed game. I never played it, but I'm interested. It's a Metroidvania type thing. Not literally Ori, but probably if you like Ori, you might like this one too.
It looks super
I like
nice.
this game, but I'm worried about a physical release, so I'm gonna hold off for now. See what happens.
If it sells well enough, and I can't see why it won't, that'll probably happen eventually. Golf Story's getting a physical release.
Mm-hmm.
And can I just take a moment to squee over the fact that Cosmic Star Heroine's coming out in August? Yes!
Finally.
Very good.
I've been standing for that game for like 5 years now. It's finally coming to a Nintendo system.
Wait, I was thinking of Galaxy. Which one's Cosmic Star Heroine?
That's the throwback RPG from the guys who did the 2 Penny Arcade episodes.
Oh.
It takes elements from Phantasy Star, Lunar, and Chrono Trigger, and does it really well with a really good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Disclaimer: I backed that game on Kickstarter, but only for a copy of the game.
Some other good stuff happening in 2018. Dragon Ball Fighters is coming out later this year. That's a great fighting game. I've been playing that one on PC. That's going to go real well on handheld. The Blaze Blue game has a similar overworld structure to it, where you're a little chibi figure walking around in a little world, choosing your modes and menu options. So that one gave me big Fighter Z vibes, and that game seems to be running tremendously. So I'm not overly worried about that. Wolfenstein 2 comes out later this month, as we know. Monster Hunter Generations comes out in August. FIFA 19's later this year. Oh, we didn't talk about Starlink Battle for Atlas. Star Fox is going to be in that thing. That's coming out.
That's kind of cool. That'll make me buy the game.
You're going to get it? You're going to get that $75 game?
Oh, God, it's 70. No, not anymore.
I'm getting 20% off with Gamers Club Unlocked.
That doesn't exist anymore.
For me, it does.
Yeah.
Let me. The E3 pre-orders are so screwed up here. I'm going to try and see what I can get Starlink for, but it comes with it's a Toys to Life game, so it comes with, in this case, 2 pilots, Fox and one other one. So that's why it's pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you could just throw out those other ones.
Yeah.
TRBR says they need another system seller in the latter half of 2018. Pokemon Go isn't it? I will take the easy way out with this question, and I will take the slightly harder way out with this question. The easy way out is the other systems don't compare remotely, and they did not compare remotely at the same stage in their life that Switch were. It took Sony 3 or 4 years to actually have things in the back half of their year.
Yeah, it's just that there's about a 900-pound elephant in the room that hasn't been mentioned at all this week, or at least since Saturday. Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Unless they're ducking out of the way, unless they're doing like pretty much everybody that's not chasing Game of the Year awards like Hitman and and basically running away from that game.
Yeah. The harder way out is that Pokemon Go is definitely not the system seller for you in the latter half of 2018. And it might not even be the system seller for me or for Donald, but it is the system seller probably for a lot of people.
Yep.
And we're people who already have Nintendo systems and will already stay who will stay in the Nintendo ecosystem until Fire Emblem comes out at least, even if we're disappointed by the current slate of things. They're looking to get new people into the ecosystem. They're looking to sell their 20 million units in a year. I think Pokemon Go and Super Smash Brothers and we got Fortnite. That doesn't really count because every system's got Fortnite. Plus Mario Party. It's not for everyone. And Xenoblade 2. So there actually is something for you coming out towards the end of this year, DRBR. They have things coming. It's not as good as Mario and Xenoblade last year, but we're probably going to get Pokemon and either Metroid Prime or Animal Crossing at the end of next year. I don't know. I think a new Pokemon game that's a new take on Pokemon and a Smash Bros. Game is a fine way to close out year 2.
And there could still be more surprises thrown in there, like a few ports of something.
What they showed of the gameplay of Pokemon Go, I was surprised that it did not look completely terrible.
Yeah. It was interesting to see the leveling up. I watched some of that today too. The leveling up happens through catching Pokemon. Like your EXP goes up, and it was showing us a buffed up party. I mean, it was an Onix, it was all 3 Kanto starters, and it was a Pikachu, and it was a Pidgey, maybe is the last one.
Yeah. I mean, they've had the catching Pokemon gives experience thing since X and Y, but I think they've ramped it up to almost the level of a trainer battle now.
Right. Well, yeah, because it is one of the main ways of leveling up. The part that did make me kind of sad, or was at least a haunting reminder that this game is not for me, even though I grew up with Pokemon just like all these people, is that when you enter Brock's gym, the person at the front of the gym makes you have a water type or a grass type in order to challenge Brock's gym.
That's dumb.
I don't think they're going to do that for every gym, but it is kind of a bummer that they're doing it even for one, even if it's a tutorial thing.
And yet
I just power through those games. I didn't care.
And yet they gave Pikachu double kick in this game too.
Yeah, if you can't evolve Pikachu, you kind of need to make it buff Pikachu and not just regular Pikachu. Although I wonder, is the Pikachu you're going to get in this game much better than the Pikachus you'll catch at Viridian Forest?
I wondered that too.
For instance.
Well, if it's based off Yellow, you won't be able to catch another Pikachu in the game anyway. Unless they put them in there in the EV version because you got Eevee as your starter.
So the demo showed Pikachu as the playable one, and it also showed Pikachu in Viridian Forest. Now that's a demo. I don't know if that's for sure, but
also keep in mind, just you can transfer your Pikachu from Pokemon Go over to that game. So that's another way you can get.
You know what Pokemon you can't transfer from Pokemon Go?
Is it Mew?
It's Mew. Oh, that's I've heard that one of the things about Pokemon Go is that if you buy the Pokeball, you get Mew. And it was funny seeing the trailer just taking a Mew along for your entire adventure is a ridiculous thing to me.
I like it.
You can do it, but it's a ridiculous thing.
I'm doing it.
I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, but I really wish the price era that was up earlier, where you could get a bundle that was normally $99 with Let's Go Pikachu and the Pokeball for $50.
When was that?
That was like an hour ago, and it disappeared almost immediately after Wario64 tweeted it.
I would have gotten it for that.
I bet they're gonna cancel those orders anyways. That's a bit much. I mean, sometimes they don't cancel it, but I feel like in that case, it's a little too much.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, Paper Lantern Drama Studio asked, will they show a Metroid 4 trailer during the Smash Invitational? The Smash Invitational was today.
And
they did not.
They showed nothing.
Metroid is not here. Yoshi is not here.
Nope, Yoshi's delayed to 2019. That's a sad but probably expected thing.
I kind of expected that a little bit just because of how long it took them to make the last Yoshi game from what I heard about.
Yeah.
You mean Yarn Yoshi?
Yarn Yoshi.
Yeah, I remember they first showed that game at the Please Buy the Wii U Direct in 2013.
Right.
And then it didn't go out to like 2015.
Yeah. Octopath Traveler is getting a new demo on Thursday. That is going to be the beginning of the game. Save will carry over.
That's nice.
Or it'll be like a Bravely thing. Well, Bravely is the beginning of the game, or is it its own thing? I forget.
The first one I think was part of the game, but the second for Bravely Second, it was like its own thing.
Okay, so it'll either be one of those two things, but I am looking forward to playing a chunk of the finalized game and whatever state we see it in, because I'm looking forward to seeing if this is a game I want to buy or not. I would like a demonstration of the game.
And you're getting one.
And I am getting one. I think this is a pretty good sort of play it today kind of thing. We got Paladins.
Yeah.
We got the Fallout thing, which is, I hear it's good for like a couple hours, but whatever. You got Splatoon coming out tomorrow. You got the Octopath Traveler demo on Thursday. And you also have a game that came out today. Fortnite, the Battle Royale, came to the Nintendo Switch. I've played it, and Justin's played it. It's just the Battle Royale portion. It's not whatever was on the...
It's not Fortnite Saves the World, because apparently that thing runs at like half the frame rate of the Battle Royale somehow.
Oh, wow.
Well, because they probably didn't put the work into it like they probably did for Battle Royale. But I played a mode of it, and as someone who fell off PUBG and did not enjoy it all that much, I find myself enjoying Fortnite on the Nintendo Switch way more than I enjoyed PUBG on PC, because I feel like it's more colorful, it's more fun, it runs better, it feels more fully featured as far as a video game goes. I think the building I need to get used to. Justin, you were telling me you don't like it one bit.
Yeah, I don't like it. It just seems to like bog down the survival shooting gameplay of it. It's like, oh, I'm gonna stop now, and then every time you go to shoot people, anybody who's skilled starts throwing up walls and stairs and just tries to get high ground and shoot you, and I think that's stupid. Like, you should have to worry about the environment. If you run through a field, you shouldn't have to rely on building these stupid steps every time someone sees you or whatever. It's just dumb, and then people hide in like boxes and just build all these towers near the end of the game. I'd rather it just be like a showdown in the middle.
I didn't play enough of it. I played one round. I think Justin and we both got like 7th place in our first one, which is fairly good. But what I noticed in mine, what I liked was when I was sort of hanging out in the background, playing sniper, sort of chilling on a roof. There's a roof that I couldn't get up to, so I built some stairs with wood and I climbed up to that roof. And that was kind of a cool thing. But seeing people defend themselves by manipulating the building system, like on the fly, that is kind of cool and also slightly troubling. But I also say that as someone who hasn't played enough of the game yet. I don't know. I think it's amazing that Fortnite is a handheld Nintendo game right now. And that it's the full version of the game. And that we can all, as Nintendo fans, experience the cultural phenomena for the first, second, third, fourth, or 5th time.
Yeah, but if you try to experience that phenomenon on the PlayStation, sorry, you can't use your account on the Switch.
Yeah, PS4
Real
does
dumb.
not like crossplay, so I'm guessing that'll be an announcement down the line where it'll be like E3. The same thing as the fabled name change that hasn't happened yet, where it's like, look, we can do it now, and then everyone applauses them, and
and then they announce that PS Plus is going to $80 a year.
Huh.
and no more Vita. games.
Honestly, I'd like it
PS3.
to just be able to switch it to I only play people on Switch. That way I know everybody has the same control setup. And I'm not facing like people on PC with like aimbots or whatever they could be using.
So I've heard that hacking in Fortnite is much less of a problem than it is in PUBG. And so far as in PUBG, the only thing you really hear about is how players in China or Korea or over here in the United States are using all these aim bots and shooting people across the map and whatnot. And I'm sure if it happens in Fortnite, it happens because it's a multiplayer game that people really like. But I haven't heard of it being a widespread issue in the same way, at least. So, Scenario says you only play people on Switch by default. PC players don't need aimbots to be better TRBR than console players. Mouse over controller. See, you always say that, and then fighting game players say the same thing about fighting sticks over controllers. But then every so often you'll see one of the best fighting game players in a given game just use a normal ass controller. I don't know.
Yeah, I prefer normal controllers to the giant arcade sticks or whatever. I mean, I have smaller hands than probably most people, so maybe that's part of the issue. But it's just the buttons are huge and spread out. And I don't like it.
Same. Although I love my Tatsunoko fight stick. That's the only way I play that game.
Scenario says, played a few hours of Fortnite. It looks roughed and rushed. It feels like it's being optimized for handheld. That's not necessarily my impression. TRBR says it's probably a quick and dirty port of the mobile version. I think it's a little bit more than that. Well, that's not
probably
fair.
A quick and dirty downsampling of the PS4 version, maybe.
That's more what I would think, because I think the Vita, at the minimum, it would be like the Vita version of Minecraft, where it's its own kind of thing, where it's more than the mobile version, not as much on the technical side as the fully blown console versions. But I'm guessing it's probably just a downsampled version of the other consoles that'll get improved over time. So, scenario character models look pixelated on docked. Yeah. I'm guessing they'll update that stuff over time. Or they won't, but either way, I'm enjoying it so far. There's going to be an eShop sale on Thursday.
Ooh.
It's apparently centered around characters who gained their fame to get into Smash Brothers. So expect some first party stuff.
So no Waluigi games, it looks like.
Well, he's technically in Smash Brothers.
Yeah, and you can actually kill him, which is the best way to play that.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm sad he's not playable. I'm sad he's an assist trophy. It's the dream of being a team of Wario and Waluigi is dead.
We'll talk about that in just a second, but there's one very last piece of news I'm going to talk about. Konami announced a track and field game today. Donald, what's it called again?
Hyper Sports R. It's a sort of imagining of the Hyper Sports and Hyper Olympics games that came out on the Famicom from Konami in the 80s. Except they've replaced mashing on the buttons with wagging Joy-Cons like an idiot.
Oh, goody.
It'll probably be okay. Bomberman was okay. I mean, problemed, but the impression is generally that it was okay. I'm guessing
it eventually became okay.
Okay.
And rest in peace, Bomberman character designer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Rest in peace. Well, there is one positive. That's a very bad piece of Bomberman news, and rest in peace, of course. Although there was another piece of Bomberman news that we will get into just a bit, because it is that time of the show. We get to talk about Super Smash Brothers, otherwise known as Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Yes. Ultimate All-Stars.
Ultimate All-Stars. And it is the smartest trick I have ever seen for a kind of re-release ever. And I don't say this in an insulting way. I'm guessing. Here's what I think Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is. it's going to be called Smash 5, and people are going to call it Smash 5, and it'll be known as Smash 5, and for all we know, it is Smash 5. But in reality, I think it's much closer to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe fused with Splatoon 2, and what the kind of game it is. Where clearly is using Smash 4 as a general foundation. And I'm guessing a lot of the characters are using Smash 4 as a foundation. And on top of that foundation, they're like, all right, we can't really put in the work on 15 new characters. And Sakurai said in the Direct, you shouldn't expect too many new characters. I'm guessing there's probably a handful beyond this that we haven't seen yet. So what he did instead is he took characters that already existed, brought them into the new era, and then took this complete roster of every single Super Smash Bros. Character that has ever existed in a game before, and they added new animations, new ways to play. They probably tightened up the mechanics somewhat, did some changes, added the new Echo thing, because we got Daisy in the game now, gave Final Smashes to characters that didn't have them, and then repositioned it as not this is a new Smash Brothers game with less new characters, but this is the Smash Brothers game with every single character that has ever been in a Smash Brothers game before. And then they dropped the Solid Snake to show that every single character is in the game, which did give me some feels and some goosebumps. And it's a very smart way, I think, of making this game where I'm sure the content is going to be Splatoon 2-esque in that even though it's very similar in some ways to Splatoon 1, it's still technically all new content, but it uses the original game as a clear foundation. I think that's what they're doing, where they're taking the Super Smash Bros. 4, adding all these characters that they know how to make generally, making it the best game it can possibly be, and then putting it out in a Splatoon 2 Mario Kart 8 Deluxe format. And I think it's a smart move on Mr. Sakurai / Nintendo's part.
Yeah, because they seem to indicate that it is a brand new game, but they've said the same thing about Splatoon 2. But the fact that they've gone to the trouble of putting like 60 odd characters in this,
65 announced so far, and the website has said 66 at some points, I think.
But it says 66 with an asterisk or something, and then it says Pokemon Trainer himself counts as a character.
Oh, I see. But I'm guessing that number will increase on the website as 2 or 3 more characters get unveiled before launch.
And post-launch DLC.
And we'll see. I think DLC's... I think it's confused. It's a little tough because DLC in a Smash Bros. Game makes a ton of sense. But they're also going with that energy of this will be the ultimate Smash. So I could totally see them doing DLC, but I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't either. Some people...
I'd be very surprised if there weren't DLC for this, because this is going to be a huge selling game, and if they can find a way to milk people of just a little bit more cash, it just seems like a no-brainer.
TRBR says the Game Explained guys found a bunch more stages on the Smash website that weren't in the demo / announced. They might have all the stages ever too.
Interesting.
I think there's a smaller chance of it being all the stages ever, but I'd be very open to that happening. Cherry Goblin asks, what's the character select screen going to look like? So crowded. Probably pretty crowded.
Two or 3 screens.
Like on the 3DS?
Yeah.
You got all the DLC and you had to go to the second screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm guessing they'll probably make the boxes a little bit smaller and fit them all in one screen. And it'll be kind of a mess, but a beautiful one.
And just to point out, there do seem to be a lot of mechanical changes to this over the previous Smash, so it isn't just a port over. They went and changed a lot of things. So the game, for my first impression, seems to be a lot more aggressive than
a lot faster.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems very much faster. It was very telling who they're going after when they said that the final Smashes will take way less time than they did in the past. And I'm like, oh, this one, even though it's for everyone, he's also kind of making a game for the people who play Smash Bros. A lot.
Who play Melee a lot.
Who played
I
Melee?
don't know. I don't know. Let's go
No,
that
there's
far.
no wave dashing in this one, right?
I think we would have heard something.
We would have seen it today in the tournament if there was it.
No, but dash dancing looks really easy to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very excited. Who's you? So Justin, who's your most hyped new/old character?
Do we even have to ask
I don't
him?
even have to ask. You know, it's Ice Climbers. I've been waiting for years for Ice Climbers to be back. My biggest disappointment with Smash on Wii U and 3DS was no Ice Climbers, my main character. However, I'm very excited the Ice Climbers are back. It's going to be awesome. But it looks like they've received some mechanical nerfs based on the trailer and some things I've heard from people. So in previous Smash games, when you grab with an Ice Climber, you're able to get a cheap smash in with the other Ice Climber or do extra damage by spamming the attack button. But now it looks like when you grab with Popo, Nana just kind of like backs off and won't do anything. And if you're grabbed, the opposite is true. Nana's not going to be able to save you from a grab anymore by spamming the control stick. So it does look like there's some nerfs going on to prevent some of the things I found really fun with the character in the past.
I don't know if any of you guys were watching the YouTube chat during the tournament, but pretty much everybody, there were two groups of people. One group of people who were saying is there going to be a Smash a character announcement at the end, and another group who was saying nerf Bayonetta or get her out of the game.
I agree. Apparently Bayonetta is the top tier character in Smash on Wii U, and some of the things she was pulling off today seemed to be reminiscent of the somewhat, as many of you, unfair tactics that she was able to pull off previously.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why some people don't, and I could be wrong, but I think that how powerful Bayonetta is starting to draw an audience away from the Wii U version during tournaments. Because she has some cheap tactics. And even before that character was released, people were speculating she'd be one of the best characters in the game just based on like the movesets that were in the trailer.
Yeah, we'll see. Although I have a question as someone who doesn't know nearly as much about competitive Smash play as you, and doesn't know as much about the technicalities of Smash Bros. As you. My question is, can you really say a character's nerfed or a character's OP when the complete balance of every single character on the roster is shifted? Like, don't you need to see the interactions of that character between a lot of other characters before we know for sure if it's an unfair nerf or...
Absolutely. It's just, I think seeing Bayonetta do some of the same things that were angering people in the past just continued to anger them when they saw it again today in the tournament. So I think it's just like, oh no, not again. Please, not again type thing.
Right. Well,
I just like to say that speaking of the Wii U and 3DS versions, I remember the competitive community at one point said she was OP, so she was patched, and then they said she was too nerfed, and then it was patched again, and they said, oh, she's OP again. Just make up your minds. What do you want?
Well, the metagame shifts over time, so people come up with new strategies based on what was changed. So maybe at first it wasn't as bad, but then like people discovered new tactics and whatnot, and then it's like, wait, maybe we were wrong. And I think after the first patch for Bayonetta, and I could be wrong here, I don't think there were any more patches.
I think she was patched twice.
I thought it was only once, but I mean, the game hasn't received a notable patch. I think a balance patch in a very long time.
Yeah.
So, I'm really hoping this Smash Brothers has balanced support for an extended period of time. I would like to see them create a game that tries to get the balance as perfect as possible. It'll never be perfect, but make as many characters as possible viable in tournaments.
Yeah.
A lot of smart changes to a lot of the returning and new characters. One of my favorite changes is the Pokemon Trainer's Return, which I'm so excited about. They're making the change that there's no stamina function compelling you to use all three of the Pokemon anymore. So if you want to use Charizard all the time, you can use Charizard all the time.
Well,
yeah.
I suppose that's fair considering Charizard was promoted to full playable character in the 3DS and Wii U games.
That's presumably not the case here, I'm guessing. No.
Do we know if Sheik, Zelda, and Samus, Zero Suit Samus, are back to their 4 selves, or will they be individually selectable again?
Oh, they're 4 characters. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, because Sheik was in the tournament today and did not.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have some new character announcements. Daisy was announced as an Echo character, which I think is funny because it's them basically saying like, "Hey, we're adding palette swaps as a feature to this game."
They're not really palette swaps though, and I'm gonna be like that guy saying it. Other characters that have this designation do have differences in their moves, and with I guess the exception of Pit and Dark Pit, who are extraordinarily similar, like more than anyone ever. It really does change the way you approach playing the character if you really learn them.
Right, I guess it is different styles at the very least, and then probably different characters. I just appreciate the acknowledgement. So Daisy's coming to the game as an Echo character for Peach, which is probably better than saying, "Hey, we got a new character, it's Daisy," and then dropping her into the game and then she's extremely similar to Peach, because there's not that much you can do with Daisy other than taking a ton of inspiration from the sports games. Then they also announced, in addition to Splatoon, but I think it's cool that Splatoon is going to be has to recharge Ink by
Those guys
Shield.
look hard to use.
Yeah, they do seem
super technical.
They seem kind of tough to use. But then there was one more character announcement for E3. They gave it a Smash 4 style trailer. You had Samus, you had Mario, and you had Mega Man walking into this sort of Metroid-y environment. And then out of nowhere, something, Xenomorph Tales, Mega Man and Mario.
Oh, it's Tom Nook. It's Tom Nook, right?
It's Tom Nook. Tom Nook and his new Xenomorph tail, which is going to be coming to Animal Crossing. It looks like they murdered Mario in that trailer. And then
Yes, it does.
And in a really cool way. And then probably the most violent Smash character to ever be added to this game. They got Ridley. Ridley's coming. And he's big, and he's powerful, and he's got an alien tail. And I thought this character wasn't for me. But then I saw how edgy and over-the-top violent he was. And now I'm like, you know what? I did play Metroid Zero Mission. I do have the right to play as Ridley.
Oh, you have to play the games? Is that... Oh, you haven't played that game, so you're not allowed to play.
Well, so I'm not going to make that... I'm just joking. I'm not making that judgment of anyone else. But I do have this thing where if I haven't played the game, I do feel this thing deep down where I don't have the right to play as that character. But then normally I'd feel that with Ridley, and then I was like, wait a second, I played Zero Mission, and I played Fusion, and I played Other M, and I played Samus Returns. I think that actually qualifies me. And then I saw they got a Mecha Ridley costume, so that's pretty sick.
That is nice.
And then Solid Snake's coming back.
Yes.
That's a really nice surprise. Konami needs some goodwill. This is a wonderful way to do it. And there's going to be probably 60 to 80 new chats with Otacon.
Cool.
Codec conversations. I wonder if they'll have Pit and Palutena's conversations alongside that.
That would be great.
Like maybe Pit crashes one of them or something.
Yeah. Ridley's a good addition. I like Sakurai's fan canon of saying F you to the audience by saying, all right, Ridley's too big. What if we made him over the top violent, make him kill Mario, make him probably be an OP character because he looks OP as heck. And then not only that, make Waluigi an assist trophy, show it in the trailer so everyone knows he's not making it in the game, and then add the feature to kill Waluigi.
And get credit for it.
And get credit for it. Oof. I'm very, very much looking forward to this game. The one big question, and I did put this as a minus. I do put this as a minus in my quote unquote review of this, is that they didn't.
It's not coming out till December, man.
It's not coming out till December 7th, which is fair. I mean, they probably want as much time to work on it. And we wish it was September, but it's hard to complain that it's coming out in December because they need as much time as possible for these characters, I'm sure.
Sure.
Without a doubt.
They didn't show anything of what we're going to do when we're not playing online or on the couch with friends. I know a lot about what's happening in that case, and I'm glad I'm going to be able to come back to Silphco as we were talking about the other day. But I don't know if there's going to be any single-player modes or if it'll be like Smash 4. Some people are like, oh, what if there's Subspace Emissary? Subspace Emissary ain't coming to this game.
I just want Smash Run. Just give me Smash Run with all those characters. That's all I want.
It'll probably be Smash Run. It'll probably be similar to was the 3DS and Wii U arcade mode similar?
No.
The
Wii U game had like a Mario Party kind of.
Oh, it was more traditional.
Crap.
Well, they had that crap, but the actual arcade mode was a little.
Oh, it was a little different too with the betting coins or whatever it was.
Yeah, so maybe it'll have both of those options. I don't know. And then they'll probably do 50 events. I'm guessing it'll be all different content from the Wii U and 3DS games, but it'll probably use the modes that exist as a base with probably one or two additions, which is why I was saying I look to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in the character roster, but for the rest of the game, I would probably compare it to the Smash take on Splatoon 2, where yes, it is absolutely the follow-up, but you know where this game came from.
Do you think they'll get rid of custom movesets?
Probably not.
Yeah,
I mean, the Amiibos are going to be...
Because that would mean they have to put custom movesets in for all the past characters, too.
But they already kind of have them for a lot of these characters.
Yeah.
I like that they put out videos for every single Smash character coming out.
Yeah, that is nice.
It's like a 25-minute playlist. Actually, the direct video was like 45 minutes, and 27 of it was Smash.
I believe it.
Damn.
Yeah, it was great. I thought it was awesome. I'm really excited for Smash Brothers. I can't wait to play Smash Brothers. There's so many characters I want added to Smash Brothers, but I know they're not adding too many more right now, unless maybe it's DLC. But I'm just excited. My character's back. Hopefully they're not terrible, so it makes sense to pick them. But yeah, I'm really excited for this game. I'm like really, really excited for this game. It's probably going to be my game of the year, and I'm probably going to put a lot of time into it.
How many newcomers do we think there's going to be? 6 or 7 in the base game?
5 at most.
You think it's going to be like that? Okay.
Well, I think it's going to be pretty limited, especially considering, we have already, 59 characters just from the people that are that have been ever in a Smash Brothers game prior to this one.
Yeah.
It really depends how many Echo characters they end up adding, I think, because that's kind of like a shortcut in a way.
True. There are some characters that don't have echoes that they could definitely do echoes for.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call this an Echo character, but I'd love to see Dark Samus. That's one of my most wanted Smash characters.
They could do Dixie Kong for Diddy.
Oh, yeah. But I don't think that would be an Echo character either. Maybe half Echo. I don't know.
Well, Echoes are half Echoes, aren't they?
Well, I meant as far as animations and stuff go.
Oh.
Because Dixie Kong has
hair.
All that hair stuff. She picks up barrels with her hair and the Donkey Kong games. And I think you need to work that into the character.
Probably.
Otherwise it wouldn't feel right.
TRBR saying 5, he thinks. And he says 4 of those might be echoey. style characters. Although we already have 2 non-Echo characters, so I guess 6 and whatever. Yeah, I think there's room for that. I hope they do the thing they did for Smash 3DS, where they didn't reveal Duck Hunt Dog until people found it in the game. I think it'd be cool to have 1 or 2 of those to at least try to escape before the game comes out. Just one where it's like, oh, you got the balloon fighter. That's neat. But I think that's all you can really say about this Nintendo Direct, which was about 20 minutes of non-Smash.
No, I do have something else I want to bring up.
Okay.
Something else about Smash. Now, they said 8-player Smash is coming back.
Yes.
So, yeah, I'm excited for 16 screen Ice Climbers.
Lord.
But aside from that, yeah, I want 16 Ice Climbers on screen, items on max. I want to see this game start to break. But
it's like Gmod you're trying to do.
It was kind of chugging at times during the tournament.
Yeah.
Of course, it wasn't early build.
They say this is going to be 8 players, but I'm wondering how you're going to do that with the current adapters, because if you want to use GameCube controllers, and I would be very angry if you can't do 8 people with GameCube controllers, because there's only 3 USB ports on a Nintendo Switch dock, yet the adapter takes 2 USB ports. So how is this going to work?
Well, there will be apparently a reissue of, or a new GameCube controller adapter will be released alongside Smash Ultimate. So maybe that new one uses just 1 USB port, and you could take up the 2 slots for the worst controllers in recorded history.
I see.
Worst controller.
Hold on a second now.
What? GameCube controllers.
What's your other one?
The only other one would be the N64 controller, honestly.
I'll give you that one.
The Resident Evil 4 chainsaw controller is the worst.
That one is
controller.
brilliant.
No, that is
incredible controller.
That is the coolest controller ever.
Oh, I just the one I would
super
least want to play a
impractical,
video
and you
game
can't
with.
really play the game using it, but it's
Hey.
super cool.
So what? How does that make it any different than the regular GameCube controller?
Will we be able to play Smash with the chainsaw?
I
think so.
believe it is a wired controller, so yeah, it would go into a GameCube controller board.
Yeah, and I think it will work, because right now I believe you plug the GameCube controller adapter into the Switch and then plug GameCube controllers into it, you can play games that way.
I still have to try that.
Yeah. All right. I think that is all there is to say about.
I have to say one thing.
Go,
One thing.
Zachary.
They gave Samus a breast reduction, and that bothers me.
Oh, you mean they actually came up with the outfit that's reasonable for being in a fight?
Well, I don't think it's the outfit. I think it's the stuff that's not an outfit.
Yeah, the stuff that's beneath the outfit, Donald. They didn't need to do that after Other M and the other Smash Bros. Games.
Well, and apparently they've all the same thing hit. Is that Snake's rear end? There's a lot. I'm seeing a lot of pictures of rear ends that have apparently slimmed
involved
down
with Hideo Kojima.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up. Did we talk about the Smash amiibo?
Oh yeah, there'll be amiibo for the new characters. Ridley and Splat and the Inkling were shown.
It's happening.
But
Happening.
And the Ridley one really needs to be the size of Detective Pikachu.
Yes, it does.
But are we going to see? Do you think we'll see amiibo for all the other returning characters?
Oh, the 7 or 8 that were added to this one.
Yeah.
Oh, probably. I wouldn't be surprised.
You know what I'm hoping
That'd be
for.
smart. Ice Climber. Well, no, that'll be 2 amiibo. You have to buy that in a 2-pack.
That's fun.
And then it'll be you'll use a magnet to connect them together. I don't know. The same as breast reduction thing. Whatever. I'm trying to. I don't even know why I brought that back. But I think it's an interesting point. Maybe it was just stylistically it fit in. I don't know.
Sure. Maybe it's a hitbox thing.
Maybe it's a hitbox thing. I don't know. Yeah, well, we'll assume it was done for mechanical reasons. Snake's booty too thick in order to be fair.
So at the E3 of lesbians, everybody loses.
I thought that Last of Us demo was quite tasteful. As someone who is very sensitive to heavy-handed politics in video games, I actually thought that Last of Us was that was kind of a touching thing.
The first part and last part of that demo, aside from the fact that that was the worst E3 press conference since Nintendo 2008.
You're not being fair. That was okay.
They had 3 different Robbie drums, for the record. That's as many as that's 3. It's 2 more than Nintendo had in 08 for the record. And well, the first and last parts of the Last of Us 2 demo were just fine. It was the middle part with the gratuitous ultra violence that really turned me off that game.
There was an interview with Neil Druckmann that went into this, and he was saying that the point of the violence was to take a realistic approach to it and the way that violence affects people. And he wasn't doing the violence to be ultra violent in a Doom fun way, but in a engaging the player kind of way, which is definitely going to be a love it or hate it thing. It's definitely a risk he's taking, and I'm sure it's not going to land as well with you as it probably will with me. But
well, that and there's going to be loot boxes in the multiplayer. So,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. I thought Death Stranding. I'm excited for Death Stranding still. I don't even
think Kojima knows what Death Stranding is yet.
I think they've given enough hints to actually get a decent feeling for what Death Stranding is. Yeah. I can give you a good guess. I think Death Stranding is going to be a third-person action game that is going to be, compared to other third-person action games where there's enemies and there's characters and stuff, this is going to be a lot lonelier. It's mostly going to be about Norman Reedus's traversing the empty wasteland as a delivery man.
Norman Fetus.
And it's going to have a weird story that's very weird now, but it'll probably be more easy to understand when the game actually comes out. And I'm guessing, and what it seems like, based on seeing the interview with Jeff Keighley last night, is that if you've played Metal Gear Solid, you know that one of the things he likes to do is he likes to make it so that you're encouraged for not being violent. As in, the best way to play Metal Gear Solid is by not shooting people. Obviously, that's hard to do, but what have you. I think what they're going to do in Death Stranding is it's going to be combat will be mostly inadvisable. There will be times for it, but it'll be mostly inadvisable. So there's going to even go further in that direction. And I think that's what Death Stranding is going to be.
Okay.
But who's going to be more confused by the end? The people who finish that game or the people who finish Kingdom Hearts 3?
Oh, Kingdom Hearts 3. I sometimes look at Resetera because I enjoy the chaos of that mess of a board. And then there was this guy who made a thread about how Kingdom Hearts 3, you better not go complaining if you only played Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, because you got to play Birth by Sleep and the Dream Drop Distance to understand it. And if you don't play those, don't complain.
Yeah, you don't play the cell phone games. And I mean, you can play all these games, but I know people who have played all these games and there's still plot holes.
Yeah.
So don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. I know there's plot holes. There's probably like a message board somewhere. It's like, here's all the things that do not make sense in these games, and I've played them all.
I got the 1.5 plus 2.5 for $20. I might cancel that.
You gonna get the combo pack that has the entire series, including Kingdom Hearts 3 when it comes out in 5 years?
On digital for $100. It's ridiculous that they're doing a pack and advertising it as PlayStation only, but it's digital. Yeah. Or are you gonna ask Donald?
Are you gonna get that pack and wait for it to come out for Kingdom Hearts 3 to actually come out in 2024 when it will actually release?
I think that game's coming out in January. They've been working on that thing since 2013. I think that thing's ready to come out. Ghost of Tsushima looks good, but I mean that in the visual way. I don't know how it's actually going to play yet. But it visually looks very, very pretty. I'm hoping they do a black and white filter and they do subtitles and the Japanese voice pack, so it sounds like a Kurosawa movie.
I gotta go. My blood sugar's dropping.
Yeah, go ahead, Zach. I'm gonna end the show right now. Bye.
Okay. Bye.
So, anything else we were going to talk about? I like Odyssey. I like the other Odyssey game coming out this year, Animal Crossing Odyssey.
Those crazy bastards are putting out Just Dance 2019 on Wii U. Wii I can explain. Wii U I can't.
Yeah, I don't know what's more shocking.
Wii is the best-selling platform for that game, or at least was in the last couple of years. Isn't that right?
Yeah. So that's why it's still around, but why Wii U?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm guessing maybe it was a cheap
Donald.
port. I'm surprised they didn't just put a sticker on the Wii one and says plays on Wii U. I don't know. Anthony says the world of Death Stranding looks so, I don't know, realistic. I've never seen a game capture hiking better than Death Stranding. That game does seem realistic. It looks like it's taking the realism, the stylistic realism of MGS5 and taking it even further, which is one of the things that interests me most. Spider-Man looks like a great game, but we already know that's probably going to be a great game. I'm excited for Assassin's Creed Odyssey because the main character is Alex and he's Greek just like me. So
I thought the main character was. I thought the female character was the main character.
Well, you get to choose your character, and it's an almost unchanged story. I think they might be going with that one as one of the main ones, but no, there's a male and female. There's going to be romance options, but it's the exact same ones. They're going to do dialogue choices. It's going to be more of an RPG this time around. It takes place in Greece, and you get to choose a male or female character, both very well designed, I think, character design-wise. And the story is mostly unchanged, barring different voice performances and some little quirks that come with that. There's a new Trials game. There's a new Shonen Jump game, which no one expected, which I'm pretty excited about. I'm actually wearing my Shonen Jump shirt right now of the pirate of the old Jump comics. Trying to think. Anything else from the third parties or other first parties that spoke out to either of you?
Tales of Vesperia remaster coming to Switch.
Yeah, that one's going to be good. That one's the best Tales game? Or is that Symphonia?
It seems to be a toss-up between Symphonia or Vesperia as to this one, and also this is the version that got additional content for a PS3 version that never got localized before. Was
it a lot of content?
A little bit. I don't think
It
was too significant, but it's just the fact that they apparently localized this stuff in 2008 when they were doing this, but never actually bothered to release it before now.
That's coming out. Does that have a date yet?
Just 2018 winter.
Or
so later in the year.
Anything else that spoke to you?
I mean, my most wanted third-party game is Mega Man 11.
Yeah, and you're probably getting that one on Switch, not PC.
Yeah. We might get a new Elder Scrolls game on Switch at some point in the undetermined future.
Yeah, well, I wonder if it'll still be the Switch when that game comes out, because Starfield is in a playable state.
I was thinking of this.
Not.
I was thinking of the cell phone game.
Oh, yeah, that's coming out to Switch too, isn't that? Or was it announced? It says they're going to try to get it on everything, including VR.
Yeah, and apparently with crossplay with everything, which, yeah, good luck with that, Sony.
It looks kind of like an old school Elder Scrolls game. I don't know. It seems ambitious. It could be like Animal Crossing on mobile, where it looks super ambitious, and then you play, and it's like, oh, it's just a mobile game. But yeah, Doom's getting a sequel. Excited about that. And then they're doing, what else are they doing? They're doing a new Trials game, which is coming to Switch. That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's getting a physical release too. $40.
That new Wolfenstein that was on GameStop for Switch.
The Youngblood?
Yeah. Is that
That's the DLC that I think is also going to be standalone. It was kind of like the Old Blood style expansion of the last Wolfenstein, but it's going to involve the future and BJ Blazkowicz's twin daughters, and it's going to be like in the 80s, and I think that is coming to Switch.
Like we've only seen GameStop is the only retailer that listed the game for Switch. Everybody else has been saying it's PS4, Xbox One, and PC, but maybe they're holding off on announcing that at like QuakeCon or something, or after Wolfenstein 2 comes out.
Yeah. Speaking of the new Fist of the North Star game made by the Yakuza team got confirmed for the West, so that's amazing. I hear that game's not great, and I played the demo, and it seemed okay, but I'm still excited that there's a new Fist of the North Star game coming West. And then there was a new Battletoads. We'll see. We'll see what happens there.
Yeah, at least it's 2D.
Yeah.
Or 2.5D at least.
2.5D. Deadman Walking asks, speaking of Animal Crossing, was anything teased for it? No. That game is not coming out until next year at earliest, and probably late next year in the Smash Bros. Style slot alongside Pokemon. I know what you're up to, TRBR. Is that some Fist of the North Star reference in the chat? All right.
Did you?
Did you ever watch the anime or read the manga, Donald?
No, but I've seen enough memes of it on the internet that I think I can probably get through it. Yeah,
it's a very good manga. I'm hoping they well represent Jump Force, because I have a copy of J-Star's Victory Versus not 3 feet away from my right arm. And man, that game was kind of a bummer, but also, man, did they have great representation from all the Jump series. They had everything from this super disgusting side character in Shonen Jump manga that barely had a presence in Japan, let alone the West. It had Kochikame, a super long-running Japanese beat cop manga that ran for something like 40 years or something. Had Yu Yu Hakusho, had Fist of the North Star, had and the all the basics, the Dragon Balls, the what have you. And I'm hoping the Jump Force doesn't just go, here's Death Note, Dragon Ball, One Piece, Naruto, and My Hero Academia. I'm hoping that it goes further with, here's a Yu-Gi-Oh character, because man, are these games lacking on the Yu-Gi-Oh front. I mean, I think the last one was the Smash Bros. Game that came out some years ago. Yeah. But that is an E3, I think. Anything else? Any new Smash takes?
Treehouse Live is going to be on all day tomorrow. We may see something out of that. No guarantees.
All right, and if so, we'll talk about it next week, unless it's enormous. All right, that's our show. Thank you for sticking around for this very E3 themed Nintendo news report. My name is Oz Kalafi. You can listen to Nintendo News Report on iTunes and on YouTube, and you can follow us on Patreon, patreon.com/NWR. Check out all our content, NintendoWorldReport.com and Nintendo World Report TV on the YouTubes. You can find Donald on Twitter at DonaldMick, DonaldMick. You can find Zach on Twitter at ZMiller19021902. That's the right one, right, Donald?
That's right.
All right, yeah. It's like when you try typing in your credit card PIN and then you just forget it for a moment. Justin is at King Nintendo Fan, and I'm at Kulafi A. Have a wonderful week. Have a safe E3. And a wonderful night. Oh, yeah, Bomberman's an assist trophy. That's pretty cool. We forgot to mention the Bomberman news.
And a professional wrestler will be a bomber in Super Bomberman R. I'm not making that up.
And a wrestler will be... And they have a huge Xenoblade Chronicles 1 spoiler now integrated into the final Smash of Shulk.
Well, yeah, we could talk a lot more about Smash and assist trophies and who's out.
We'll bring that back next week.
Yeah.
Xenomorph Tom Nook for Smash. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.
It's the year of the Ice Climber for real.